Hey, what is up guys? I'm Kyle at Fortune. Today we're installing some LED headlights on the Samurai. So a few weeks ago, a company got a hold of us called Uni-Shine, and they told us they had some new LED headlights out and they were wondering if we wanted to try them out. Of course, I was like, yeah, they look awesome. Let's give them a shot. So we got a hold of the J005C black die-cast aluminum LED headlight. So these are 7-inch round. They fit a wide variety of vehicles, pretty much every Jeep that takes a round headlight, also Hummers, motorcycles, and obviously the Suzuki Samurai. Of course, these headlights have your typical high and low beams, plus not only a white running light, but also an amber DRL, which is really cool. You can assign those to different things. So one can be a marker, one can be a blinker. I've seen some people talk about using the amber as a fog light. So a lot of cool options with that. These lights also include IP68 waterproofing, which means they should be able to withstand water up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes without anything going wrong with them. I've never had LED headlights on pretty much anything. I've run a lot of LED lights in the past, but nothing that's my main light source on the road. So this is something that's a little bit new to me, but it looks pretty easy. So a lot of people ask, what do I need to upgrade my lights to LED? Can my truck handle it as it is? Is it going to be just a plug and play? Well, it varies for a lot of different vehicles. In our case, we needed to get a harness, which I bought on Amazon. I think it was about 20 bucks, so it wasn't anything too crazy. A lot of people wonder why they need a wiring harness to put their LED lights in their vehicle. And I'm not going to try to explain it. I will simply read a blog that the Retrofit Source put out in February of this year, where they say, a wire harness is installed so that your factory headlight circuit can control your new HID system properly. Generally speaking, you can't just plug the ballast into the sockets that powered the halogen bulbs and expect them to work reliably or even at all. A harness not only ensures that the outputs from your car will be converted for compatibility with your ballast, but also does double duty to provide the right amount of power to those components. So in our case, there are some other options. We can't just wire up all the relays ourselves. There's a lot of people that probably know how to do that, but I took the easy route and I ordered a harness off of Amazon, which as usual, I've got all these parts down there below, so go ahead and check those out if you're interested. So we're gonna get around to how to install these headlights, but first, let's go over the parts themselves. Check them out. So first of all, these headlights just look awesome. I say that about a lot of stuff, but these truly do look cool. They're all blacked out and they have a nice symmetrical pattern where your normal beam is in the middle. Your high beams include all of the LEDs, and then you have a little arc above and below for DRLs. The connections are pretty standard, and this headlight also comes with a harness to convert it to other plugs, but you'll see later we're actually not going to need that. The wiring harness we have is just enough to get everything wired up perfectly. During this install, I realized that it's a lot easier if you just take these bolts out instead of loosening them. That way everything goes a little bit faster. When you go to put these headlights in, there's a raised edge in 3 places, but you'll see here mine didn't fit. So what I decided to do was cut out some notches for them to go into. Using a permanent marker, I just marked where the portion that was protruding was, used an angle grinder to cut out some notches, and then hammered them back. So the connection for the lights look like the same 3-pin that all these lights have. So it looks like it could just plug in, right? But these are LEDs, not gonna be able to work off of this old Samurai system. So what we did is we got a new harness. The lights also came with this adapter, but that one doesn't look like it's gonna do us any good either. So I've bought some parts off of these guys in the past, online LED store. If you remember, I did those LED lights on the bumper of the Samurai, and those have worked great. This is a well-reviewed kit. Basically, what we're gonna do here is use this harness to get the power from the battery into some relays, and then those relays are going to send the power back to the headlight. We've got one end that needs to go onto the battery. Got a fuse on there for that as well. This end will plug into the factory outlet for the headlights. This end will plug into the headlight, and then any black cable is the ground. This will get grounded to the body or the frame. Two of these on the other end. You can see we've got the same thing. This end to plug into the headlights and another ground. So usually I'm much better with the wiring, but we are probably going to be switching to propane soon, and some of that is going to take up this area. So I don't want to commit to putting this anywhere right now, so I'm just going to zip tie it, and it's zip tied right here. So we've got some more wiring to clean up. We also have more options on the lights themselves. So right now the headlights are powered via this connection. You can see we have two more wires hanging out right here. This red one is for the DRL, and basically this is a white light that is above and below the main LED. This yellow wire is an amber light that takes up that same spot. So there's two additional spots for lighting. One's up here and down there, just for the daytime running light portion, and then there's another portion that is an amber color. So the easy way to remember this is the yellow wire powers the amber. So this would normally be the perfect time to use a butt connector. I've wired up complete systems with them before and it didn't work, and then I had to hunt down where the problem was, and almost every time it was the butt connector. So now I just twist them together and use heat shrink over the top. All right, we've got everything wired up. It's kind of a rat's nest down here. I haven't secured anything yet because I want to make sure this is going to work before I start putting everything back together. So let's try everything out. We'll see if this driver's side is good to go, and if it is, we'll repeat everything on the passenger side, and then we'll marvel at the beauty of LEDs. All right, we've we've got everything wrapped up. Like I said before, we are eventually going to have some other components going right here, so didn't want to do anything too permanent. I've just got everything zip tied down and, you know, try to kind of group everything together. It looks kind of complicated, but I promise this was a really easy install. So I'm going to go over it again real quick, just so there's no confusion. The first thing you need to do is wire up the power to your positive terminal. It just kind of slips on the bolt there. That power is going into these two relays, one for each headlight. So the first one, the short one, whatever side is closer to your battery, which in this case is the passenger, this shorter line right here, out of there we've got a few wires coming out, grounded it to right here. Each side will have its own ground. The part that normally plugs into the back of the stock headlight plugs into this black piece right here, and then the orange piece plugs into the new headlight. So if you just want a normal beam and a high beam, that's all you need to do. If you want to do a little bit of extra credit and kind of play around with the different colors, you can do what I did and borrow some power from different components. Like I said before, the yellow is the amber and the red is the white DRL. So what I did is I wanted my whites to be on whenever my running lights were on. That gives me the white arc above and below. And then whenever I turn, I wanted my amber indicator to flash. So I just borrowed power from the blinker, which is down below. For my running lights, I borrowed power from right here. So very easy to do. This is kind of extra credit. You don't have to do it if you don't want to or if you're not comfortable with it. It was super easy. The hardest part of this is finding out which color for your blinker down there is the one to go to the red, which is your white DRL. So I have a video putting the lights on the bumper that kind of explains the different colors on those lights. I'll put a link up here if you want to check it out. If not, it's the green wire that is going to that light. There's a black, a red, and a green. The green is the one that you'll want to borrow power from and have it go into the red wire if you want to have that light set up. So the long cord goes all the way down. I've got it just routed behind the grill here. Comes around to this side, and it's the same thing except on this side you only need to plug the headlight into the orange piece. The power for the headlights is all received from one side, so this one is unused. Same thing, we use the ground in the same location, which is just under here. We borrowed power from the blinker and the running light over here. And that's it. It really wasn't that difficult. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with wiring. I'm usually not too comfortable with it either. But what I did is I just got my voltmeter out and I just made sure that when I turned my blinker on, this is what was getting power, yada, yada, yada. So now that everything's installed, turn the lights off and see how this thing looks. So because we don't have the transmission all the way back in the Samurai yet, we can't take it out for a spin and see how these headlights look when they're outside, but hopefully that was a good enough view in the garage here with the lights off. Well, Uni-Shine is offering a huge discount to anybody who uses this link that I have down in the description. It's actually on a different set of headlights that also look really cool. They're a little bit different. They have a solid halo around the whole light, but if you want to buy the lights that I have here, I'll have a link down there for that as well. The harness is there too, so go ahead and check that stuff out if you want to try it yourself. This is something anybody can do, and if you have any questions on it, do what I did, get the voltmeter, check out all the voltages that are coming off your different wires, and make sure you don't wire up anything wrong. I think these headlights not only look awesome, but are going to be a huge performance upgrade, especially when we're off-road. Now we won't have to depend on all of our auxiliary lighting as much, and hopefully just our regular low beams can really light everything up. Oh yeah, totally awesome Samurai art again. For some reason this one's a lowrider again. I'm not sure how that keeps happening to me, but yeah, look at those DRLs. Guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you want to see more like this, don't forget to subscribe. I put a video out pretty much every week, and if you're subscribed, those will show up in your home screen when you log on to YouTube. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.